first talk. Today we are going to continue with our previous discussion on Africa and the fourth industrial revolution. As we have always been coming to you in the past few weeks through our virtual presentations, training, and discussions. So this is Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry for those that are joining us for the first time. The Business Entrepreneurship Skills and Technology Center. The center is saddled with the responsibilities of capacity development and training, skills acquisition, and we are very keen on whatever that is that has to do with technology. In January this year, in collaboration with one of our partners, KVS, we initiated a conversation on Africa and the fourth industrial revolution, basically looking into how the industrial revolution is going to affect Africa and especially Nigeria as it ought to be. So we started this conversation in January and we were on it until this COVID-19 broke out, and we are forced to go into the industrial revolution as earlier as we have imagined. So the conversation is ongoing with the main objective of getting people's opinion and understanding and having an idea on how each and every one of us can key in into this industrial revolution and the new norm in which we are living now. So I'm going to hand you over now to the anchor of this program, Mr. Akindele Akinyemi. He has been the man behind the conversation, behind the program, and he's been very resourceful. We have our facilitator for today, Mr. Akinyemi, will also be coming up, but I'm going to hand us over to Akindele now so that he can tell us briefly about the conversation that is ongoing and also introduce Mr. Akindele Akinyemi for his presentation. So, Akindele, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Seneca.
Akindele, you can take it up now.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Ms. Seneca.
Speak. Okay.
Am I audible?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
We can hear you. Just speak a bit louder.
Okay, this is in continuation of earlier conversations we started on the fourth industrial revolution. It's just that in the last 3 months, the fourth industrial revolution has come full circle and has become the norm. So it's no longer a future of jobs. It's now the present of jobs, the present of qualifications, the present of self-improvement. Our facilitator for today, I think, is going to be a lot more than able to explain most of this today, most of what is going on, the changes going on with our lives. Mr. Akindele Akinyemi is President and CEO of the Global African Business Association, GABA, located in Romulus, Michigan. He's a veteran educator from classroom to educational policy. He's currently academic advisor and career coach at Wayne County Community College District in Detroit, and is former chair of the Inkster Downtown Development Authority. I'm sure whoever was with us at the last session was able to learn so much as a result of Mr. Akindele's insight. We are so proud to have him here with us. I will hand us over to today's facilitator, Mr. Akindele Akinyemi.
Thank you very much, my friend, and I'd like to say good morning to all of you in Abuja. Thank you for having me as a facilitator this morning. I'm normally up anyway at 4 o'clock in the morning reading the paper, so this is an actual natural for me to give presentations like this. I'm very honored to be in your presence this morning. So we're going to jump right into Africa and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Let me see if I can pull up my PowerPoint. If you guys can just be patient enough. Let's take a look here. One second. All right. If you can give me one moment here, I'm going to see if I can pull up my document. And if not, that's perfectly fine. All right. I wonder if everyone can see that presentation. Can everybody see that? Okay. So the Fourth Industrial Revolution. First of all, can everybody see this screen right here?
Yeah.
Okay. If you can see the slide, that's cool. So the Fourth Industrial Revolution is here. Are you ready? We're going to take a journey from Africa and the COVID-19 and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. The Global African Business Association, we're a business support network whose mission is to link and develop business development through global trade, investment, and education between sub-Saharan Africa and local urban communities within the United States. If Africa is serious about moving into the 21st century, then it must leave its 20th century ways of thought behind and understand that we will not be able to move forward unless we embrace the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I personally speak on this topic a lot, not just within our organization, but just in general, because I've been in education for over 20 years, and I can see the trends of technology taking over education and blending into education as one. So it's very important that we understand the importance of this revolution that's taking place. So the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and I know we've discussed this before, is characterized by the fusion of digital, biological, and physical worlds, as well as the growing utilization of new technologies, such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, robotics, 3D printing, the Internet of Things, and advanced wireless technologies. And we know the stages of the revolution. You know, the first one was about coal, water, and steam. The second one was about the invention of electricity and mass production, like automobiles and things. The third industrial revolution was about computers, and now we're in the fourth one, which is dealing with cyber physical systems. So as you know, even in a COVID-19 environment and before the coronavirus took its root globally, the fourth industrial revolution was in effect. It affects all levels of life in the 21st century, whether you're dealing with security issues. So one of the things I do where I work at is I'm one of the cybersecurity advisors. So I discuss the importance of cybersecurity with our students, our young people, why this is a profession you need to get into, as well as understanding the not just the educational and academic aspects of cybersecurity, but also the professional aspects of cybersecurity. Transactions, whether that's dealing with banking, financial technology, interface. Interfaces are things like chat boxes that you find on websites, decision making, mobility like Uber and Lyft, and factories such as mechatronics, or what we call robotics. And these are the 12 core technologies of the fourth industrial revolution that's creating this phenomenon right now. So you have 3D printing, advanced materials, robotics, biotechnology, energy storage, blockchain, geoengineering, Internet of Things, supercomputing, artificial intelligence, space technologies, and virtual reality. We're not going to talk about all 12 of these, but we're going to touch on some. So the jobs that are under fire currently are things like travel agents, tellers, surveyors, journalists, legal assistants, finance assistants. Travel agents. I mean, when was the last time that anyone went inside an office and sat down with a travel agent? Most of that stuff we can do online through websites like Priceline and Expedia and things like that. Tellers have become automated in terms of artificial intelligence. And even journalists are becoming more sophisticated on things like blogging and all that good stuff. However, these are jobs that did not exist 10 years ago. Being a blogger, sustainability manager, drone operator, apps developer, social media strategist, data scientist, or people who are going into data analytics, drone operator, that's very popular in certain parts of Africa, delivering medicines and vaccines and stuff, especially during COVID-19. Apps developer, people are developing apps to track the virus, okay? Social media strategists, people are being hired as social media strategists nowadays is because to get the information out. Maybe I don't have time to put the information out myself. I hire a strategist to relay information to the public about what's going on, especially with COVID-19. So Africa in the fourth industrial revolution. So we understand that African countries spend about 1.1% of gross domestic product on digital investment, less than half the share of what developed economies spend. Internet penetration is also low, averaging less than 40% compared to the almost 63% to the rest of the world. However, countries such as Kenya have far more advanced technology sectors than other African countries, with an internet penetration rate of about 90%. Eritrea at the bottom with only 1% of the population having internet access. 1%, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good. When we look at the focus of the fourth industrial revolution, the African population is the youngest and the fastest growing in the world. It needs to develop adequate STEM skills to meet the requirements of the global market. Every primary and secondary school needs to start teaching some basics of programming and coding. Here in the United States, I encourage teenagers, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, to get involved in coding. And the reason I push for that is because coding are the foundation of app development and other things like that. It's also a great career path at a young age for our children and our young adults to be engaged with. The job opportunities and the economies have not evolved to meet that expectation. And STEM hasn't actually been integrated by African governments. When we look at the impact of artificial intelligence, by 2030, artificial intelligence is forecast to contribute $15.7 trillion to the global GDP. Of this, $6.6 trillion is expected to come from increased productivity and $9.1 trillion from consumption efforts. And African economies should also close the gap for mobile internet access and put in place policies for data protection and intellectual property, crucial in the age of artificial intelligence. If this doesn't happen, ladies and gentlemen, Africa will become dangerously dependent on outside economies. So if we think we're having it bad now, we haven't seen anything yet when it comes to this type of technology. We're going to increasingly rely on new sources of energy coming from the developed world, while local economies still operating on oil will become irrelevant on the global market. And also consequences will be seen in healthcare, with Africans failing to tackle important medical problems with innovation that would be accessible to other more developed regions. Let's take a look at the human capital factor of this fourth industrial revolution. By 2030, that's only 10 short years, and it will be here in 10 short years, Africa will have the world's largest potential workforce. Think about it. What if every one of them was connected, digitally skilled, and empowered as a powered digital consumer or producer? And Africa needs to shift her focus from natural resources to as data as the new oil. I'm gonna say that one more time. We need to shift our focus from natural resources to data as the new oil. And every job of the future will include a digital component, and Africa's workforce need to be prepared accordingly. So how do we implement this fourth industrial revolution? We need to implement this fourth industrial revolution strategically, methodically, by doing this locally first. I say that because most of the time, we go straight to the federal government to solve our problems when our problems should be solved right in our own living rooms, right in our own homes, right in our own communities locally first. Our strategy here in the US with the fourth industrial revolution in terms of why we focus on small city and rural development, because we feel that cities concentrate the majority of foreign direct investment and are the drivers of innovation and productivity. Growing numbers of city leaders are taking action, and this is true, to reduce their carbon footprints, scale up renewable energy solutions, harness the digital economy, absorb and protect migrants, and reduce inequality. And one reason cities are so important is that they are economic powerhouses and generate an increasingly significant proportion of national GDP. Data is the new oil. In today's world, data is used in an immense way with several organizations, whether it's medical, information technology, or any corporation. Many big companies like Apple, Facebook, Google has been significantly successful in accumulating a large amount of data, which helped them build a large-scale company. So a prime example of data collection is a company called Bomalink. So everybody in GABA knows what Bomalink is. Bomalink is a website that's been designed to gather, connect, and unite the African governments and corporations with entrepreneurs and business professionals within the African diaspora. So the nickname we give it is the Africa version of LinkedIn. It was developed by Mr. Shola Salako, who is right here in the state of Michigan with me. I took him to a meeting last year to meet with the former ambassador to the African Union mission here in the United States. And they had a conversation, and one of the things that she discussed was we need a way to collect data, to control the data in terms of moving our diaspora forward. And he came up with this concept called Bomalink. If guys, if you guys want to check out Bomalink, you can go to bomalink.com, look at the website, sign up, and join in the conversation. When we're looking at broadband technology, this is very important. We have to make broadband accessible to communities in Africa. This includes making fiber optic internet access available at a reasonable cost, but we must invest in electrification. This is a big thing in terms of electrification output and renewable energy to increase digitalization. This is a big, big, big deal on the continent. And to be honest with you, I know some people look at the US as being developed, but there are many areas here in the United States that have the same troubles as other parts of the world when it comes to broadband technology. I'll give you a 10-second spiel. When COVID-19 hit, right here in the state of Michigan, I'm using Michigan as an example because I'm here, and schools had to be let out early. They canceled school for the rest of the school year. The biggest problem that was discussed was the lack of access of broadband and internet technology to low-income residents and low-income students. This is right here in the United States. And in rural areas of the US, they don't have good broadband. So this is a global problem that we have to tackle. Here in the US, there are already more than 500 communities nationwide, however, operating public broadband networks or leveraging their massive contracts with broadband providers to ensure free wiring of schools, libraries, and other publicly accessible Wi-Fi hotspots. So Chattanooga, Tennessee built their own high-speed fiber optic network back in 2009, and that's one of the case studies that we look at here in the US. In terms of education, this is a big one for me, and this should be a big one for you as well. We must convert our educational foundation from primary to secondary schools in a hybrid model of education. This includes a balance of online education, technical vocational educational training, and traditional education. I'm gonna say that one more time. This includes a balance of online education, technical, vocational, and educational training, and traditional education. That means every student that graduates from secondary school must graduate with an apprenticeship to prepare them for a 21st century workforce in skilled trades and skilled tech trades. So when I use that term skilled tech trades, I'm talking about cybersecurity, network administration, things like that. And we definitely need a national overhaul in education. That's not just in Africa, that's even here in the West where I'm at. Primary and secondary students should be learning about coding, application development, and cybersecurity as part of their skilled tech trades. African governments, on the other hand, must reinvent an education and reskilling programs to ensure that technology supplements instead of replaces labor. One key element of the fourth industrial revolution is blockchain technology. Now, blockchain, for those who don't know, is a distributed public ledger. It's like a database with a set of predefined rules for how the ledger is appended by the distributed consensus of the participants in the system. So blockchain is primarily a database. It makes it, and what happens is, because it's widely, witnessed property, blockchain technology makes it also impossible to change the data already on the blockchain. So cryptocurrencies, of course, and I've heard us discuss this before, but cryptocurrencies is used on a blockchain, is used on blockchain technology. A lot of grocery stores are starting to use blockchain technology as well. Globally, they're starting to use blockchain technology. One key aspect of the fourth industrial revolution that most people don't talk about too much is e-banking. So if we were to create an e-banking system, that would encourage customers to use the system for secure transactions. It would also help move the population online to doing banking services. We'd be able to access internet banking anytime from anywhere in the world. And you could do transactions online without visiting a bank. Now, we've already gotten to that financial technology piece, but also think about, I know on the continent, we have a lot of mobile banking. Some people do mobile banking here. I live in a city called Inkster, Michigan. Inkster, Michigan is 6 square miles and 24,000 residents, and we do not have a bank. Our bank left. So this is a concept I've been discussing on this side about the importance of e-banking through financial technology. Digital cash. So we know that banknotes are going to be a thing of the past. If you look at what's going on in China, they've started a pilot program with their new digital currencies in 4 major cities. The digital currency is known as the e-RMB. That will be used for paying for the month of April salaries to some government employees and public service. You can go to China right now. If you are using cash, banknotes, Visa, MasterCard, they already know you're from out of town, period. They do not use cash. It's a cashless society in China, and other countries are starting to come on board as well. One thing about an e-business registry system, through blockchain technology, we'd be able to leverage an e-business register system. So instead of physically going into a place and filling out paperwork to register your business and paying cash or whatever the case may be, this is a different option in a fourth industrial revolution framework. This is an advanced tool and secure tool that allows entrepreneurs to register new businesses online in just minutes without having to go to a notary or some other official. The e-business register would allow you to register a new company over the internet, change data in the business register, and file annual reports. This is something else I'm working on personally within our city, to convert over from paper and cash and cash use to this system. Now, one of the key elements of COVID-19 is the lack of health care, the lack of health systems and technology within the health systems. So an option that we could take a look at is e-health records. And so an advent of the e-health record system would integrate data from various healthcare providers to create a common record every patient can access online. It's a powerful tool for doctors that allow them to access a patient's records easily from a single electronic file. Doctors can read test results as they are entered, including image files such as x-rays, even from remote hospitals. So for example, in an emergency situation, a doctor can use a patient's ID code to read time critical information such as blood type, allergies, recent treatments, ongoing medications, or pregnancies. The system can also compile data for national statistics, so medical officials can measure health trends, track epidemics, and make sure that health resources are being spent wisely. 3D printing. Now, 3D printing, when we're looking at 3D printing in COVID-19, 3D printing is needed on the front lines of the supply chain. This is very, very important. There are companies like Form Labs based in Massachusetts. They're a developer and manufacturer of 3D printers and related software. During this pandemic, the company is now using 250 printers in the state of Ohio here to manufacture 10,000 nasal swabs for COVID-19 testing each day. I try personally to get my students to take up 3D printing classes because 3D printing is the way of the future in terms of PPEs, face masks, even building homes. This is very critical. The first 3D printed respirator has been developed and approved by medical experts in Spain. Copper 3D, which is the company, has put online an on-source file 3D printable N95 mask. And NanoHack, and it's called NanoHack. The mask takes about 2 hours to print. That comes with assembly instructions, and the recommended that it be discarded after 8 hours of use. Now that's all from a 3D printer. Not a traditional manufacturing track, but this is an alternative manufacturing track. A big one we need to take a look at in the fourth industrial revolution is e-government. So e-government can be a powerful tool that our various levels of government can use to streamline its decision-making process. Utilizing a web-based software and audio-visual equipment, policymakers can take part in sessions remotely. Decisions made at the meetings can be emailed to interested parties or posted on the website even while the meeting is still going on.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said the e-government policy already exists in the country.
I say that one more time.
I said e-government policy is existing in Nigeria at the moment.
Good. 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 You'd be surprised, e-government here, we are just catching up with that.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
That's it.
Yeah. This is
What
what I'm trying.
country are you?
I'm in the United States. I'm here in the state of Michigan. We just now getting to this, and it's still. I'm serious, and just to show you, just to show you how far behind we are. State government here are not permitted to practice e-government.
The state
That is a
government.
big fight. Here, where I'm at.
What about the federal government?
The federal government, they can practice it. They can practice it on some levels, but our state government here in this state, I'm in the state of Michigan. In this state, they cannot do it. Our local governments can practice some form of e-government, but not at the state level. They still have to show up in person.
Okay.
That's why I brought this up. Yeah.
Okay.
Proceed. That's why I brought this up.
Don't let me just proceed. Don't let me cut you short.
No problem. Thanks.
Okay.
The job forecast. So the job forecast in the fourth industrial revolution. So a recent study released by McKinsey Global Institute reports that roughly 1/5 of the global workforce will be impacted by the adoption of AI and automation, with the most significant impact in developed nations like the UK, Germany, and the US. By 2022, 50% of companies believe that automation will decrease their numbers of full-time staff, and by 2030, robots will replace 800 million workers across the world. So the fourth industrial revolution jobs that most people know about are data analytics, cybersecurity, biotechnology, nanotechnology, network administration, 3D printing, cloud computing, digital marketing, which is nothing new, mechatronics, which is robotics, health informatics, blockchain engineer, artificial intelligence engineer, and machine learning, and that's just in part. Remember, that's just in part, ladies and gentlemen. There is more jobs than this that's existing. 65% of children now entering primary school will hold jobs that currently do not exist. 65% of children now entering primary school will hold jobs that currently do not exist. The question is, how do we prepare our children to get to that point?
Hello, Akindele, please 1 minute. Please, can we all just hold on with our questions and contributions till after his presentation? Please, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, you can continue.
Thank you. So coming soon is the fifth industrial revolution. We have talked about the first, the second, the third, and we talked a lot about the fourth. And coming soon, the fifth industrial revolution. And the fifth industrial revolution, the forecast for that is it's going to bring back focus to humanity. War on talent, where artificial intelligence enables recruiters to capture better profile matches for jobs. It's definitely going to put women in the forefront, at the forefront of the whole job and career market. And the fifth industrial revolution will help companies make the most of existing resources by helping management teams to focus on more strategic tasks. My final words of this presentation, because Lord knows I could be long-winded, so I try to keep it short. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement offers a unique opportunity to enhance governance around the fourth industrial revolution. The COVID-19 pandemic offers a new opportunity to hit the reset button for us to deliver 21st century solutions through digitalization. We must shift our thinking into a more progressive vision if we're going to be serious about our future. That's very serious. We have to shift our thinking. And our next generation must be our focus. Our young adults they are the ones that's going to move the continent of Africa into the next phase of things. It's important that we on this call invest in our youth and give them the skill set necessary to move to the next step. That's my contact information. If anybody wants to reach out to me directly, I am, believe it or not, I am on the Best Centers. I'm on the Best Centers WhatsApp group. I just don't talk a lot, but I am on the group. I keep up with everything that's going on. I just think that the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in our opinion, is doing a phenomenal job, and we do learn from the chamber here in the United States with our team in GABA. So we support and honor what you all are doing, and we support you 100%. You can always reach out to me by WhatsApp or email. Check out our website. That concludes my remarks, and I thank you so much for having me on this morning.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I think that is a further cementing of everything we have been talking about since this session started. We're really grateful.
Thank
I've
you.
been seeing something else, like from what you have said, and something else I've been noticing from research I've seen recently is they are going to be, when we talk about work, the future of work and the fourth industrial revolution, a lot of people keep talking about some jobs going as a bad thing. I think the fourth industrial revolution is birthing even more jobs than were existent before. We have just got to tap, especially in Africa, we've just got to tap into the explosion of new jobs. For example, I know a lot of people who went into driving Uber who would previously have never done taxi, would have never been taxi drivers. But when it came as Uber, we had a lot of young people moving to that sector. Well, it's good we have time now. Please, as Mr. Nuka said, we can all come in, chip in, put in questions, contributions, whatever you have. I'll hold on for a minute.
Say the last part. I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. Kind of went out.
I'm opening the floor to questions, contributions, and everything, and anything else from the rest of the participants. So I'll give that a minute.
Okay, thank you, Akindele Akinyemi. Nice presentation.
Thank you.
We have some questions at the chat forum. Okay, someone is asking, do Africa business community really have accurate data that could be relied upon to make an informed business decision? Considering the fact that this is, we are a business society here, and the ACCI is focused on ensuring that members' business is not too much negatively affected with this current situation. So do we think we have accurate data that could be relied upon to make an informed decision? Did you get that?
Yes. Is that question to me or anybody?
It's in the chat box. You can scroll through the chat box. It's also there. The question is there.
Well,
Okay, go on. Go on, sir.
well, it depends. It depends on it. When you say I'll take a stab at that. It depends on if you're talking about, does it have accurate data? It depends on what type of business um, that individual or that group is into. I mean, some African businesses do have accurate data. I mean, I've noticed that here in the United States, some have accurate data, some don't. Um, it really depends on what your business model is and how you collect data. That's really the bottom line of that. I know here I push a lot about blockchain technology with a lot of African businesses, trying to get them to have some foresight on what the future entails. And so it just depends on what type of business we're working on. I'll give you an example. We're working on a grocery store here in Romulus, Michigan. And one of the things I talked to my logistics director about was instilling blockchain technology to keep accurate data. So that's one thing that we're looking at, but it just depends.
Hello?
Okay, okay. Thank
Hello?
you.
You're welcome.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay,
Hi.
there's another, okay, it's a contribution. The fourth IR will also bet more jobs than it will kill, I suppose. The key is prepare, prepare, prepare. So I believe this goes for everybody, or if you have a contribution towards that, definitely the IR is going to kill some job. It will also bet more jobs. So we need to prepare, either as an individual or as a business. Which approach is better regarding the implementation of the fourth industrial revolution and the value chain? A top to bottom approach or bottom to top approach? What do you think?
I think it has to come both ways. I think it has to come both ways because this, the fourth industrial revolution right now has been thrust upon us rather than the regular way we moved into other revolutions. The fourth industrial revolution is being turbocharged, I would say, by the coronavirus, by this pandemic we're having. Like I was saying at the start of the last session, some of the things we were talking about, we were thinking about them coming up in 3, 4, 5 years. And today you have to be at home. We've had to be at home now for a few months. We've had to work from home. These were things we were thinking, maybe companies will at some point decide to tell some staff to stay home. No, now we have to do it. So things are not going as organic, as it will happen organically before. It's now being thrust on us. So it's, I hope I've helped that. Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's continue. We have another question. I think I will direct this to our DG, the Director General of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She's here with us. Any plans to train SMEs to adjust our businesses to the fourth industrial revolution? Ma, you can answer us.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Akinyemi, for that insightful presentation. We look forward to having more of you on this particular platform. To answer the question that Mrs. Temitope just read out, she is the director of the training center. So I think she should have just gone ahead and made a response to that. But yes, the reason why Best Center was established is one of the reasons actually is also to train businesses and make them aware of current trends. So yes, we have plans to support SMEs to upgrade their businesses so that they can align with the fourth industrial revolution. We are carrying out a lot of ICT-based trainings. Our entrepreneurship trainings are also incorporated with some of these ICT skills. So just watch out for us. During the season, we thought it was going to be a long-term plan, but now, in fact, it has become an urgent plan. We also have a plan on ground to train people on blockchain technology. Alhamdulillah, together with Mama China, you guys need to give us a date so that we can immediately commence that training. I hope I have responded to your question appropriately.
Yes, sorry, DG, I'm interrupting, but I think you should also use this opportunity to tell everyone about the upcoming GIZ program for TVET. It's going to be a very good program, and we will be working with every one of you, and we would like to inform you that something good is coming up. Maybe the DG will just spend 2 minutes to talk to this.
Okay, so the chamber had partnered with the German government in the past to train young persons on ICT, various ICT skills, web design, photography, and so many other skills. So we still have some trainings coming up. The next one actually we're focusing on is the German dual vocational training. I don't know if you've heard about the dual vocational training, but it's a system of education where you mix classroom trainings and practicals in the industry, not in the classroom. So the way that the system is structured here in Nigeria is restructured actually is 50% in the classroom and then 50% in the industry. Of course, the Germans will provide the technical expertise. We will place you in the industry or trainees in the industry to actually have hands-on skilling in the industry. And then, of course, you can immediately begin to earn some income. So that's what we're working on together with GIZ. And we invite you to please follow our messaging on the WhatsApp group so that as soon as the application forms are out, if you know anybody who is interested or if you are interested, please apply. Of course, we're going to vet the applications, but we look forward to having interested persons on board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the response. So moving forward, we have another question. What data-focused career should a newbie pursue to position himself in this fourth industrial revolution within 1 to 2 years?
Let me say something, Anthony. Akindele, please, before you answer that question, someone spoke about data. The person said, do we have accurate data in Africa? We have data. Not all of it is accurate, but we have data. And for me, that is a very good start point. We have the data. And for me, Africa is the next frontier. We need to really key into this fourth industrial revolution. We don't need to wait for everything to be perfect. We just need to jump in, because now look at what has happened. COVID-19 has come, and it's forcing everyone to align with the revolution. Please, we will tidy up all the gray areas as we go on, but please don't even see this as an option. This is what must be done now. Thank you.
Okay, so Akindele, you can go ahead and answer the question on focused career for a newbie within the next 1 to 2 years as
Hello?
regards the fourth industrial revolution.
Hello?
I always place people in data analytics or business analytics if they're looking for a data focused career. Data analytics is very, or what they call data scientists. Those are some very red hot careers globally, and you can do it. I know our program here, you can do it in 1 year with a certificate programs. And one of the things I want to mention from an academic perspective is that people, employers on these Fortune 500 companies, they're not looking for people 4 or 5 years out. They're looking for people today. So it's important that we engage our young people in career paths that are technologically driven, data driven, but at the same token, you can go into a program for a certificate in about 2 or 3 semesters and you're done, and you're making not just enough money, but you have something that's in high demand. So to answer that question, I would say data analytics.
Okay, thank you. We have quite much questions, so I'm going to summarize some and ask some, like 1 or 2, 3 at the same time. Okay, someone is asking for a recap of the list of jobs and the skills for the fourth IR. I think we can just have that on the chat forum, because I see other people are still asking the same questions along the line. So asking for the presentation slide, we'll get back to you. Then how can we embrace this fourth revolution into our lives and business? Then how do we catch up with the fourth IR as a nation without the involvement of the federal government?
Well, the first question, how can we embrace the fourth revolution into our lives and businesses, is happening right now. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. I tell folks all the time, movies that are science fiction, if it's considered science fiction, that means someone somewhere is working on the actual concept to bring it out into the public. It's more of a psychological game to prep you for what's getting ready to happen. So artificial intelligence is here. Blockchain is here. Cybersecurity, stuff are being hacked. All that stuff is here. So we've already embraced it in some capacity. The question is, how do we leverage this particular revolution to empower a nation like Nigeria, to empower a community where I live in, and link the wealth between the two to create an ecosystem that is unbreakable? That's what we need to work on now, because it's already here. through our business, through our technology, through our everyday lives. As far as how do we catch up with the fourth industrial revolution as a nation without involvement of the federal government? Well, that starts right at the local level. I mean, the Chamber of Commerce can take the lead on, our Chamber of Commerces can take the lead on that. Our business associations can take the lead on that in terms of preparation, education, 21st century education that's not just going to prepare you to work for someone per se, but also build a level of entrepreneurship that's sustainable. And we could do all of those things even before we can get to the federal level. I mean, that's what we're doing here successfully. And everywhere else as well is being done successfully.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So there's another question. How do we know we are on the right approach to digital transformation and technology use? At Akinyemi, how do we know we are on the right approach to digital transformation and technology use? So I'm going to read out the contribution to that from Uko Etok. Uko says, I think Africa is better prepared for the fourth IR, given the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, coupled with the coronavirus pandemic as a reset button to escalate our continent in the right path. The one aspect we need to pay attention to is the human capacity development to champion and lead this revolution in the continent. So do you have any additional contribution with that, concerning that?
I think the most important approach to digital transformation and technology is understanding, I mentioned in my presentation about broadband, that is key. If we cannot expand that in terms of that internet penetration, increasing our internet penetration and electrification, we're going to still be behind. So if we're serious about digital transformation and technology, we need to really invest in that along with some other things to really be compatible. So I'm going to stop right there, but that's really one of the core components of us moving in the right approach in the right direction.
Well, it's also
okay. Next question. As a Chamber of Commerce, do you have Department of Research in area of data gathering to inform business decisions with regards to business investment? I believe some investors, both local and foreign, will be looking out for new business to invest on after COVID-19. Yes, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry has a research and business development unit. So I'm sure if you come to the chamber, you will get information that you need, both locally and internationally. Yes. And we are also working with NASIMA to also get more information on areas in which we can invest in after COVID-19. So someone is also asking, Akinyemi, what are the inherent risks as 4IR is being driven by big data? How do we ensure the safeguard?
Well, your inherited risk in the fourth industrial revolution is always ensuring that data is protected. And this is where your cybersecurity infrastructure come into play. If cybersecurity, if you do not have a strong cybersecurity infrastructure, whether it's as a nation or as a community or even as a business, your data is going to be hacked, and that's a problem. That's a big problem. We have nations right now, things like people like North Korea, Russia, that can take down a nation with the stroke of a button, and they know because they have hackers hacking into people's databases. So I mean, that's an inherited risk. That is the reason why cybersecurity technology is very, very important. It needs to be implemented widespread to protect data, and that's it. that's pretty much it.
Okay. From Chris is okay. It's a contribution. Thanks for this very good assertion about African preparedness, referring to Uko Eto. We need leaders at the very top to have good understanding and be able to give the necessary support needed to make the 4IR vision a reality. Thank you, Chris. I think that was a contribution. Then I need a recap of Didi's response. Okay, we'll get to that. Uh, Akinyemi, is the internet a curse or a blessing to Africa? Looking at the security threats, lack of free press to media advocates, and cyber bullying. Then let me add in again that is the thought I had going to depend on 5G network to be effective. What other challenges do you think this will be to mankind? Are there disadvantages?
Well, the internet can be, well, the internet, like money, could be a curse or a blessing, depends on who the person is. The internet can be in many cases, the internet is a blessing, especially for those who are going into e-commerce. If you want to do your business, distribution, electronically, it's a blessing, because you do not physically have to show up at a particular space. You could do all your work from home. It can be a curse if you're looking to maliciously attack somebody or attack a group of people or even a nation. So it really just depends on how we view the internet from an ethical perspective. In terms of the 5G network, do we need 5G to make the fourth industrial revolution effective? Well, right now, most communities are on 4G. I mean, 5G is coming. I think if you're trying to develop something like a smart city, you will need a 5G network to be more effective, because now you're looking at the Internet of Things and high speed. But I think that's if you're looking at it at that level. But eventually, all of us will get to 5G. So that's going to be more impactful for the fourth industrial revolution. But it depends on what your strategy is, from a policy making perspective, from a business making perspective, an academic perspective of what you're trying to use 5G for. And some disadvantages, just real quick, in terms of disadvantages of that. If, again, like I've said before, like I said before a second ago, if your internet penetration is not strong, then all this is not going to work eventually, because technology, as everyone knows, changes over a period of time, a short period of time. So we need to be in a position to keep up with the trends of technology to make this fourth industrial revolution really work for us.
Okay. Thank you very much. So lastly, the question is coming up again. The speaker has not, okay, on the list of job and skills for the fourth industrial revolution, what are the list of jobs and skills for the fourth industrial revolution?
So I sent my email, and I'll post it one more time here in the chat room. Those people who want a copy of the slides, if they could just email me, I can give them that, including those list of jobs and skills for the fourth industrial revolution.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Akinyemi, for this beautiful presentation. Thank you for letting us into your wealth of knowledge and experience with regards to the Industrial Revolution. So it's 12 p.m.
Okay.
Session is.
Okay, let me just, before the director rounds up, to express a profound appreciation to Mr. Akindele Akinyemi of Global African Business Association. I think what you are doing as a Nigerian in diaspora, having direct link with your country, with where you come from, is fantastic to us. Your relationship with the Best Center has been of tremendous benefit, not just to the Best Center, but to the numerous young people that we're trying to bring up. We expect that we will continue to relate with you, and you have this platform to always reach out to the Nigerians that are following you. And we also believe that teaching us what you see in such climates as advanced countries and bringing it home to domesticate is a wonderful strategy for your association. We'll continue to work with you, and we expect you to also give us more insights into the new thinking, especially with the Industrial Revolution that is coming up. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you too, my friend.
Thank you, Prof. That's Professor Adesoji Adeshuga, is the provost of the BEST Center and is so much passionate about capacity development and technology. Thank you, Prof, for being here with us today. Okay, thank you once more. BEST Center, ACCI as a whole, we appreciate this for taking out time to also grant us more knowledge about the fourth industrial revolution. So while we keep the conversation going, just like I mentioned the last time, we have a WhatsApp group dedicated for this African and the fourth industrial revolution. So if you want to join in the conversation thereafter this video call, you can send us your phone number so that we add you to the WhatsApp group. Then also a full recording of this online webinar is going to be on our YouTube channel. So just follow us on our social media channels at ACCI Best Center. You can also go through our website, accibestcenter.com. You have full information about us. And we come online with our trainings at least twice a week. So we'll be glad to see you in our next class, which will be coming up on Friday. So we'll be glad to have you participating. We'll also send the info out there. So once you join us on our social media channels, you will not miss out in any of our activities, which promises to be very enlightening and full of knowledge. So we have the next one on effective management strategies for business success in challenging times. The best talk on the fourth industrial revolution continues, and as our uncle Alhamdu is still here with us too, so it will let us know the next area we are targeting with regards to the fourth industrial revolution. So we want to say a big thank you to everyone for participating. Thank you once again, Mr. Akindele, for your time. And
You're very welcome.
as always, let's keep staying safe. If you can avoid this, stay at home. If you have to go out, observe social distancing, wear your face mask, wash your hands, and or you use the hand sanitizer. So let's keep staying safe as we hope to see you soon next time. Thank you very much to everyone for participating.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.